New from Severin on 4K is Vampyros Lesbos from 1971, another Jess Franco directed film. As I've said previously, Jess Franco is someone that I know a little bit about. I know he has done a hell of a lot of movies, and I find him middling. Some of the films I like, a lot of the films I find middle of the road, and there is a few that I just do not like at all. Going into Vampyros Lesbos, especially as it was getting a 4K, I assumed that it was one of the better Franco films. And it was definitely is. It's all about Linda, a young woman who travels to a remote island to handle a legal matter for the Countess Nadine Carode, and feels that there is something familiar about this woman, a woman that she's seen before in strange erotic dreams that seem to blur the line between fantasy and reality.
Und danach wird alles dunkel mich und sie stöhnt und umarmt mich. Und dann schrecke ich auf einmal zusammen und bin wach.
And it becomes a blurred line between reality and fantasy all the way through the film. Linda ends up in a psychiatric hospital, and this is where some of the sort of marvellous work really comes from. It's that idea of whether this has actually happened or whether this has been a psychotic break, and it plays a little bit with that and becomes a little bit fast and loose as the film goes on. But this being Franco, it is of course exploitation. It's an erotic vampire horror. It has this kind of dreamlike art, and it has this 1970s lounge feeling nightmare. And he shoots the film as though in a kind of trance. There is slow zooms, there is lingering close-ups, there is repeated imagery throughout it, hypnotic like music that loops through the scenes, almost as if it's casting a spell over you. This is seeing Franco take a little bit of care about his movie, about building up the narrative throughout it. And although the narrative is basically a similar kind of rip-off of Dracula of sorts, it adds more into the actual filmmaking aspect of the film to elevate it.
Nacht für Nacht kam und holte sich aus meinem Blut wieder neues Leben.
Now, I would say that when watching this, it really put me in the mind of Daughters of Darkness. Now, that Kumail film is much better than this, but even having that comparison, it eased me into what I was getting with this film, eased me into what I was expecting from it. And to be honest, the biggest thing that grabbed me was the dream versus reality aspect that was going on. Linda's visions make it unclear whether things were unfolding in the real world or they're inside her subconscious. Has she just had this break? Is it actual seduction from Nadine throughout it? Now, the film is most definitely a Jess Franco film, and it has Francoisms all the way through it, from the lurid kind of camera work as we watch people writhe and wriggle about half naked, as we see the kind of overly forced and aggressive seduction techniques that some of the characters use. But it does have Franco at his most stylish, I would say.
Aber warum kommen Sie dann hierher?
Weil du in dieser Stunde sterben wirst.
Das wird Ihnen nicht gelingen. Sanctus Spiritus Benedictus.
But it's anchored, this film is truly anchored by the performance, again, by Soledad Miranda, who is absolutely wonderful. She's the gravitational centre of the film for me. She's elegant, she's melancholy, she's hypnotic. Her performance is iconic, and you can understand why this film would be filler because of her performance. It is a Eurocult landmark of a movie, one that I just never had got round to seeing. But to see these wonderful visuals, this incredible story, the way that it is put together and layered, the kind of hypnotic state that it lures the viewer into to take in all this material was truly wonderful. Let's dive into the disc and have a look at some of the extras. Here we are in the disc for Vampyros Lesbos. Let's go to this bonus features. First up, we have an audio commentary with Kat Ellinger, author of Daughters of Darkness. Then we have a second commentary with Aaron Abushon and Oscar bait film collective John Dixon and Will Morris. Then we have Interlude in Lesbos, interview with director Jess Franco, which runs for 20 minutes 51 seconds. A terrific interview, talking to the man, talking about this film, where it lands in his career and what kind of brought him to it. We have Fever Dracula, interview with Stephen Thrower, author of Murderous Passions and The Delicious Cinema of Jess Franco. Another extensive talking head here at 44 minutes 44 seconds. Then we have the Red Scarf Diaries, which is something I really enjoyed. It's Jess Franco Career Appreciation by Academy Award-winning filmmaker Sean Baker, talking about his love of Franco. In the Land of Franco Part 12 is, we start off at kind of Notre Dame and then move to various other locations, showing what they're like now, going back to clips of his various movies showing that location. Sublime Soledad, an interview with Soledad Miranda historian Amy Brown, which runs for 20 minutes 23 seconds. It's the same extra that's on She Killed in Ecstasy. Jess is Yoda is 2 minutes 44 seconds, and it's just a little fun addition where he gets a Santa Yoda as a gift. Then we have the German opening title sequence and the German trailer. That's the extras for Vampyros Lesbos. So there we have it. Vampyros Lesbos on 4K. It's less of a traditional horror film and more of a sensual cinematic trance type of movie. The plot takes a backseat to atmosphere, to the music, to the hypnotic imagery. For viewers willing to drift along in this world of extreme logic, it's one of the most iconic entries of the Eurocult horror that I've seen. I'd recommend it. If you're a fan of Franco, you're going to find something rather good here, one of his better movies. If you're a fan of 70s kind of Euro horror movies, it's definitely worth picking up because you'll love the aesthetics and the look of it. Again, the 4K looks tremendous here. I love the way the colours pop. The fact that it has this hazy feeling about it just seems to be more emphasised with the way that they've brightened a lot of the colours here. It just seems a little bit unnerving, a little bit unrealistic, and there's something there that really plays within the narrative of the story. I'd love to know your thoughts on Vampyros Lesbos. Let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, hated it, or fell somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.